I'd never say Jackson Pollock's work isn't art, but I would say it's ugly and I hate it. Yes, this is the kind of attitude we're looking for. Now, if you're not new here, you might be like, Hallie, why are you cheering this on? Don't you have an entire series about modern and contemporary art? Technically, yes, but the series is actually about art appreciation, so I don't care at all whether or not you like Jackson Pollock. In fact, Jackson Pollock doesn't care whether or not you like Jackson Pollock because he's dead. Hi, welcome back to Modern Art for Haters, the show where I talk to you about art and you really don't have to like any of it. Today we're going to talk about the difference between liking and appreciating art, and to do that, we're first going to talk about movies. When I was in college, I had a friend named Alex, and he was a big movie guy. And he wasn't like weird or pretentious about it, so I liked to ask him about the movies he was watching. Sometimes he'd tell me about movies and they sounded like not a good time. So I said, why are you doing this? And he said, well, it's because of something I learned recently, which is that a lot of times when we approach art, we ask one question, which is, did I like it? When in reality, our appreciation for that work would be so much deeper if we also asked the question, what is this person trying to say? How did they use this thing that they made to say that? This second question blew the world of movies wide open for Alex. He was able to appreciate movies he never thought he would have watched in the first place, and his love of movies in general just got so much bigger and deeper. And this is the same for all kinds of art. Our ability to make and view and think critically about art is so much better when we understand the difference between liking something and appreciating it. This is the reason why you can watch a really good movie and go, that was great, I never want to watch that again. And why you can also watch a movie and go, that was horrible, I loved every second. Now, I think fully being able to answer the question, did this art do a good job at saying what it was supposed to say, is not easy to do in one video. But today we're going to practice recognizing the difference between liking and appreciating art by looking at this painting. Faith Ringgold's 1967 painting, American People Series number 20, Die. Now, if you look at this painting and go, you are not the only one. When this painting was first shown in public, there was a woman who got off the elevator and this was the first thing she saw. Mind you, it is 12 feet wide. The woman let out a yelp, got back on the elevator, went downstairs and left the building. But we're not going to do that today. We're going to sit and look at this painting. What do we see? We see a huge painting. The painting is full of people and lots of blood. The main colors in this painting are black, white, and red, and a lot of shades in between. And the lines and angles are very harsh, and the people look a little unnatural. And their faces, their faces are painted with these severe lines. Wide, red eyes. Their expressions are of anguish and fear. This painting doesn't talk, it screams. Would I want this painting up on the walls of my house? No, but do we think that that's what this painting was meant for? So let's ask the question, what is Faith Ringgold trying to say here? Now, this painting is currently hanging up in MoMA, and so we're going to read what the placard next to the painting says. This frenzied spectacle set against a gridded sidewalk responds to the street riots that broke out in the United States in the 1960s. Ringgold said she wanted to show an abstraction of what the fights were really all about, and they had a lot to do with race and class, and no one was left out. The artist depicted the figures wearing business attire and fashionable dress to express how racial antagonisms permeate all segments of society. In the middle of the chaos, two children sit trying to help each other out. Ringgold based her composition on Picasso's Guernica, the artist's response to the atrocities of the Spanish Civil War, which she regularly visited when the monumental canvas was on display at the Museum of Modern Art. Now let's look at the painting again. We can see the things that the description talked about. We can see how the gray squares in the back are meant to represent sidewalks. We can see the people in their business clothes, and we can see those two children sitting in the middle holding each other. We can also compare this painting to the picture of Guernica that's at the bottom of the placard. We can tell that these paintings are painted in the same style, a style known as Cubism. And Cubism takes natural things like people and plants and animals and paints them with really sharp angles and straight lines, which creates this really unnatural, unsettling feeling in us, which in the case of these two paintings is supposed to happen. Now we could stop here, but I want us to really dig into this one. We're going to do one of my favorite things, which is to find the artist talking about the work themselves. Here's what Faith Ringgold said about the painting in 2016. I wanted people to understand it's not just poor people breaking into stores and stuff like that. What's happening is people are trying to maintain their position in life, either rightly or wrongly, trying to keep one group down. One group is trying to keep the other from advancing. Another group is trying to maintain their position. Another group is trying to get out of the way. So you've got all these things that are happening. Everybody is involved. Nobody gets away without a struggle. There is a struggle. Freedom is not free. Everybody is going to have to pay a price to be free. The summer before this painting was finished was known in America as the Long Hot Summer, a time when tension over racial injustice boiled over. And across the country, there were 150 riots in the course of a few months. There was a lot of people who tried to say that these riots had nothing to do with them. They were just about a certain group of people in certain places and of certain status. Through this painting, Faith Ringgold is trying to say, no, our history of inequality and violence has shaped all of us. And when we look back at this time, we'll see that no one was unaffected. So is this painting fun to look at? Not really. After learning all that, would I change my mind about hanging it on my wall? No. But I am really glad I spent some time looking at it and learning about it. And because of that, I appreciate it. And I hope you appreciate it too.